94XO, it's Moni XO. I'm here hanging at Sanctioned Sneaker Collective. Make sure you guys stay tuned. You're watching 94XO. So when did the sneaker passion come about?
So for me, shoes were like as a kid, I grew up in the 90s. I'm an old man. So like I remember when the Jordan 11s and 12s and 13s came out, I was playing ball in high school. And I remember my mom being like, there's no way I'm paying for Jordans. Like, you're not gonna, but Mom, everybody has them. I was like, I gotta have them to play. She's like, no, we're going to Venture. We're gonna get you some Voits and you'll play just fine in those. And so as an adult, like it was like the opportunity to go back and relive a bunch of childhood stuff. So I've always been connected. And then, I don't know, I've always been into fashion too and collecting. And I found sneakers are really unique because two things. One, they bridge cultures a lot differently than other things. You know, sneakers don't know race, they don't know wealth, they don't know religion, like black, white, yellow, brown, rich, poor, old, young, like everybody connects. And I thought that was really rad about shoes.
Yeah.
And then the other cool thing is I have a shopping problem. Like literally Amazon comes to my house like 15 times a day.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's bad until I met sneakers. No, but for real, the cool thing about sneakers too is sneakers hold value. So if you're a collector of different things, a lot of times you're really just a pack rat or you're just a hoarder. With sneakers, as you collect them, you can actually build like value and equity. And as a grown man, I found that like I was having more fun buying sneakers and holding sneakers than I was buying stocks.
Yeah.
And so I think when I realized the value part is when it like kicked into overdrive. I'd always been like a pretty passionate fan, but when I found out that I could actually like enjoy it and make some money at it, it was like, oh no, like this is fun.
I would say, so how has it been when it comes to challenges, when it comes to being a sneakerhead, and buying all these shoes and trying to find that shoe that you want and it's sold out, like on, what's that Nike app?
Oh, sneakers
app,
take an L daily, yeah.
Like, how's that been?
So what's weird is, for me, buying the shoes is not the problem. It's not buying the shoes that's the problem. You know, you've got GOAT and StockX, you got all these opportunities to buy shoes even if they are sold out. And sneakers are a whole lot more pervasive now than they've ever been. Like on my Instagram, I could buy 1 billion shoes a day. So for me, it's trying to figure out like how to like pump the brakes, right? Because if it were up to me, like 30 boxes would show up at the house a day. But yeah, it's the sneaker world now makes sneakers very accessible if you're willing to pay. Now, as far as you're talking about hitting releases, no one does that anymore. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all in the same boat. Like everybody in this shop is the same people, all hitting the apps, trying to just hope that we hit.
Now, how has it been though having a store? You know, having people trying to come in and get those sales.
So it's a little emotionally sad because like I didn't ever want to get rid of shoes. Like I just liked collecting them, and like my whole office was a shrine to like sneaks, and I don't like seeing them go out the door. Like, don't say that to the customers, I guess, but I'm like emotionally connected to them. You know, for us, it has made it more challenging because you have to make business decisions when you're buying them instead of just like kind of passionate or fashion decisions. And that's been a little bit of a challenge, but for real, it's fun. I mean, I literally sit in a playground and get to do what I want to do. And like sometimes I get a check out of it. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. So when people come into the store, know absolutely nothing about sneakers or even just send you a DM, how do you give them quote unquote sneaker knowledge?
I don't know that I'm one to give it, first of all. Like I think that's the interesting thing about the game is, you know, there are people who've been sneakerheads for decades and decades and decades, and then there's kids that just popped up right now, but this is their passion right now. So I try and be real careful, and Chase does a good job too of not trying to push our culture onto them, you know. But the first thing we say is just have fun. Right? I mean, this is supposed to be enjoyable. If you're not enjoying it, then you don't need to be here.
It's not for you.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to explain to some of the mall walkers when like 85-year-old Betty walks by and she's like, what is this? And I'm like, those shoes are $5,000. I'm like, well, they're Dior's. It's normal. I think that's the hardest thing to explain to some people is just the cost of some of them. You know, some of the really rare stuff, some of the stuff that's over $1,000. People are like, don't understand.
But that's the thing too when it comes to sneakers. It's just like anybody else that has their own passion and things that they love. Like electronics, for example. You're gonna pay for what you want to pay for.
Sure.
So if you want to pay for a $1,000 sneaker, that's what they want to do. I don't have $1,000 to pay for a sneaker, but I understand like how people can feel when it comes to collecting shoes and, you know, wanting to get the next best thing. So how did your guys' partnership come about?
Yeah, so Chase, my business partner, is a crazy, like prodigy. He's been buying and selling shoes since he was like 10 years old. And the dude is like accomplished more before 19 than I certainly did. And he hosted a sneaker event in St. Louis called Laced Up.
Okay.
And I finally got my collection to the point where I was like, I need to sell something or else I got to stop buying. Like, this is just getting absurd. So I hooked up with him and was a vendor at Laced Up. And I just had an awesome time. It was the first time that I can remember, like in the last while, that I really felt like the sneaker community was alive. Like at the event, people in person, because so much of sneaker world happens online. It happens on the apps.
Yeah.
It happens on people holding shoes in their left hand on Instagram or buying it off Goat, and you don't actually get to interact and transact. So at the event, it was just rad to like see people of all different. Our motto here is we bridge the different people connected through sneakers, and at the event, it's rad to see that happen in person. So afterwards, I was like, Chase, how do we do this more? Like, how do we get more people together? I've had a passion for the city of St. Louis and connecting very disconnected like areas and neighborhoods, and I was like, it just seems like a really cool way to connect people. And so we went through a couple iterations. We looked at doing events, pop-up events, and ultimately settled on retail, because I've always had a passion for retail, and Chase has always dreamed of opening a sneaker shop. So we had a crazy idea one night and didn't let go of it.
Yeah, it's exciting. You kind of like touched on my next question of what are your goals when it comes to the community and having more people being tuned with the sneaker world in St. Louis.
Yeah, so, I think what's interesting about me, and when you talk about sneakerheads, there's like a billion different varieties. Like they come in every flavor. For me, I get more excited by the connections that sneakers bring to people and bring for people. And so I love the idea of using sneakers as a vehicle to accomplish what I was saying, bridge the different. I have a really unique past. I grew up in Chesterfield, but I also was the only white male stepping in the 1999 May Day parade, like step behind Twista in a step group. So I've seen, and I spent a bunch of time in North City. I've spent a lot of time in the county. I've lived in the city for 20 years. And the one thing I love about St. Louis is its diversity. The one thing I hate about St. Louis is it's so disconnected. And so our goal here is to start with sneakers, but we're also opening a clothing store next door that'll be called the Stockton. And it's all going to be for local St. Louis clothing designers, giving them an opportunity to connect in person with people and have a store to call their own. And then we've got some other things coming down the pipeline that's really going to build a family around the concept of bridging the different.
Oh, that is amazing.
So I don't play to be a philanthropist. I do a lot of philanthropy work, but this is a business. But we're trying to use business as a vehicle to connect people in a positive local way.
Yeah.
And to really highlight the local scene of entrepreneurs and artists and passions and dreams that happen in St. Louis, because it really isn't on display anywhere. One of our future concepts is going to be centered around art. And in St. Louis, unless you want to go to Clayton Art Fair and spend $4,000, like there's no accessibility to art in this city to the average person. And so, really trying to bring it into a central place where people can experience St. Louis culture in an authentic way.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. Now, before we wrap up, we're going to head on to the Close the Race segment, Jar. But can you let us know where people can DM you guys, send you any information, your website, and all of that?
So Sanctioned Sneaker Collective, it's at Sanctioned SC on Instagram, Sanctioned Sneaker Collective SC. Same on Facebook. We actually do answer our DMs. I think we're the only sneaker shop in the country that literally answers every DM, so you can answer any question. We're open Friday through Sunday in store, but we do private appointments Monday through Thursday. Okay. So you can give you your own little shopping experience. You can pop in, just hit us on the DM. And then the clothing store will be coming live in the next 60 days. It'll be called the Stockton, named after John Stockton, the all-time assist leader in the NBA. Okay. And hit us on the socials. That's probably the best way to get hold of us.
Okay. Well, it's time for Close the Race Jar time.
All right.
Pick 3 questions out.
I can't fit my hand in the jar.
Throw them all on the table.
All right. What is my favorite smell? I saw this one in the jar, so I kind of cheated. But I'm not supposed to say that.
No.
Oh, I didn't cheat at all. I followed the rules. For real, it's like cologne and perfume, because it reminds me of like the first time, like cologne reminds me of the first time I felt like fresh. Like I got my first outfit together and I sprayed it like 19 times because I thought more was better.
It was too much.
And I still remember, like, if a girl is wearing like Curve or like Old Bath and Body Works, that smell just immediately, like just being a kid, like thinking I was cool, but knowing I wasn't cool and hoping someone else thought I was cool.
So you don't spray 19 sprays now?
I'm down to 17
Okay.
nowadays. I
Okay.
do overwear cologne. Sorry. Can you smell it now?
No.
Okay.
Next question.
Would you let me slap you for $100? Absolutely. I would let you do it for $10
This is super
and
random.
2
I didn't even know
envelopes.
that was in there.
I need some envelopes tomorrow later.
Okay, last question. We're gonna act like that didn't happen.
You wrote the questions, not me. Do I believe in Bigfoot? I believe that a man has been seen in the woods who is unshaven and confused for a Sasquatch.
I think it's Bigfoot. I think it's.
You think like an actual?
I've
Why just one though? Why wouldn't there be like 10 big feet?
It could be.
Are they big feet or big?
Maybe
yeah.
they have 4 feet.
But where's the whole family? How come they've only ever seen one? If he's existed this long, he has to have peoples with him.
He has to have cousins.
And all I'm saying is you don't want to get in a game of hide and seek with Bigfoot because clearly he's awesome at hide and seek.
Well, thank you. It's a wrap. I'm Moni XL, and we are out. Be easy. I did not know that question was in there.
The Bigfoot?
No.
Oh, the slap.
It's your girl, Moni XO, and you just finished a 94XO interview. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media platforms. Be easy.